Back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back. We got some more bite-sized business advice for you, and we have two amazing guests. The topic for today's episode, check this out, from $7 in the bank to building a seven-figure business. I don't want to brag, but I have $10 in the bank, so I don't know if this episode really applies to me, but let me welcome my guests, Chad and Holly. Guys, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Man, that was no joke. I'm excited to talk and share a little bit about it.
I want to dive right in because with a title, a topic like that, there's so many questions that come to my mind. But what did that point in your life look like? And then we'll get the backstory. But what is $7 in the bank? What was happening?
Yeah, so we were actually living with our accountant at the time. So we went from living with my mom, and we had an agency, and we were like, we've sold a couple of projects or whatever, did some stuff, and we're like, we're gonna go nomadic and just go live on the road.
Laptop lifestyle, like all the way.
And then we completely ran out of money, and our accountant is a good friend of ours, and she was like by where we were going, which is Orlando, and we're like, hey, we're out of money. And she's like, come live with me. And I'm like, until when? She's like, until you get whatever figured out. And so we moved in there, and we got her grandson was living there. He got moved to the couch, and we got moved into his room. And if you think 13-year-old smelly bedroom, and then so that's where we're living. And then like she had this extra office that we ran our business out of, and I'm just like hustling like 24 hours a day, basically looking for clients. And
it was crazy. Like speaking of like our last $7, I remember so distinctly we were hungry and we're like, well, let's go to Tropical Smoothie. We split a sandwich between the both of us, and we had this conversation of like, okay, this is not working. Like, what do we need to do to turn this around? Because I don't ever want to live this kind of life ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like single digit bank accounts to really wake you up, right? That's interesting though. So you wanted the laptop lifestyle, which is, it's all over the internet. It's what everybody seems to want, but it's harder than it looks, first and foremost. So tell me what got you to, because you were doing something right before, it sounds like, and then you got down to this point. So what was that journey of decline, if you will, and what did you learn along the way there?
I think it's a constant cycle of hustling and then going, we're going to take our foot off the brake, and not creating the system. So let me actually fast forward a little bit. We started doing well again. I have all my hustle, got the clients, hand them off to Holly. She's also working this like side gig, doing some stuff over here. And I remember very distinctly that she's like standing against a wall, and she just started sliding down the wall, and then started fully convulsing. And we're like calling 911, and 911 call comes, takes her to the hospital, and we're like freaking out, like what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. And it was really scary. And essentially what happened was that she was burnt out from like she was the delivery of all of our funnels. So we landed like 40K worth of funnels in like a week. And so now she's delivering that plus doing this other side gig at the same time. And it was just a lot of stress, right? And plus
living at an accountant in a teenager's bedroom that smells, and like I was so not in alignment. And I had, this dream, this laptop lifestyle. We were traveling, we were living on the beach. I don't recommend laptops and the beach, by the way. That is way overrated. Hand in there, like it's terrible. And to go from that to like nothing, like no clients, no business, no nothing. We have a toddler that may be coming in here, and the stress of it and the pressure of all of it, like it literally collapsed my body. I was so not in alignment with my vision, with the goals that I had, with what I wanted in my life. It was like I had this dream and this vision, and it literally turned into a nightmare at that point. And so it started, the dis-ease when you have problems with your health. There's something going on internally that you need to discover and work through and get healing from. And so that's ultimately took us on this journey of healing, growing, learning how to build teams, developing our leadership abilities. Like there was a lot to overcome, and I'm really grateful. Honestly, I'm really grateful for all of it. It was one of the most powerful moments in my life when I got to really, every entrepreneur goes through this point where you're either going to break or you're going to launch into a new world of reality, like the reality that you've always wanted. It will definitely be one of those two. And I think that every entrepreneur has one of those experiences, like some special, like, oh, I broke down and had this like rags to riches story. I feel like all entrepreneurs at some point in their journey will have this. And it's just your ability to be able to get up, to remember why you started doing this in the first place, to keep going and to make every experience something that's working for you. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's no alternative, but I've also noticed that every entrepreneur needs to go through that, because regardless of the severity, like does it have to be $7 and a full-on like clinical burnout stage? No, but there needs to be that moment of defeat to like check yourself. Like you got into being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. This is hard. This is not an easy game. Like you have to be tested in order to be worthy really of the other side. So not a fun story, I'm sure, not a fun journey to live through, but on the other side of it, what you've learned is obviously the prize. And now you can teach that to others and help other people overcome that. I love that that's the journey you've taken too, is sharing the story, because so many people are there. So many people go through it. And maybe you listening, you're there right now. Here's your story of hope in Chad and Holly. And I'm super excited you guys are here to share it. So from $7, living with your accountant, weird choice, by the way, because I feel like of all people to shame you for having no money in the bank account, it would be an accountant. Am I right?
I mean,
you think, right? She's so loving and has so much grace. She's literally one of our dearest friends to this day. So
yeah, that was an interesting thing. But yeah, so health is in shambles. We had some money in the bank, and you'd think you'd go, okay, let's settle down. No, we went and actually we're moving to the beach. And we're going to figure out how to holistically solve all this issues. So we go to the beach and we're shooting like multiple seasons a day, but learning so much like about the health stuff and all that. And then we get invited to sponsor an event by a guy named Steve Farber. And so we go to California and sponsor this event. And we actually, what we learned at the event, the whole theme was do what you love in the service of people that love what you do. And that's why it sunk in so deeply with us, because one of the reasons we were burnt out is we were working with the wrong clients. We were working with everyone. We were working with people.
I'm building these big funnel systems for knee pain doctors. And I'm like, this is the most boring, I just couldn't get excited about it. I was doing it and it kind of sucked.
Yeah, and so we're like, oh, we need to. So everybody always teaches find people that you can make the biggest impact with, that has the money, that's just really easy to get results for, and then that's who you should serve. And we added, you have to love doing with them. So now we only work with clients that if we wouldn't take you out for dinner and hang out with you, you're not welcome to be a client. And then we're now having this event in person, and if we aren't willing to invite you and hang out with you for a weekend, you can't join our one-on-one clients. So it's really being discerning on who we work with and being very picky on clients is really important.
Yeah, I think that's an important lesson too, because I've had a number of conversations with people where they build businesses kind of by accident, and the clients that end up coming in are not really who they set out to serve in the first place, but it's money, it's income, you got to pay the bills. And then it's so hard to turn that around and actually find the people who you do want to work with, who you would go to dinner with or go on vacation with. So I'm curious, how did you guys go and turn that around from knee pain doctors to people who you actually enjoy working with? Like, what was that transition and process?
So that event was really important, and we just happened to have a couple of our clients were already there. One of them was a publicist, and the other one was a neuroperformance coach. And so we're like soaking this in. I'm like, whoa, do what you love in the service of people who love what you do. Like, what would that be like? Who is that? And so we went out, and the publicist, she's an amazing woman, awesome, love her, and she was very for herself, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But it was just a different energy than the neuroperformance coach. The neuroperformance coach was so for transformation and other people. She was so for leadership. She was so for like growing herself and making sure that her clients had results. And we both were just like, this is the coolest work. Like, she's the coolest chick. Like, what would it be like if all of our clients were like this? And that's ultimately, like, that's when we made the decision, like, the coaching industry, I am such a stand for transformation. I know within our own lives, we had to make that transformation within ourselves to be able to overcome all of the things that we went through. I love coaches and their mission to really make a deep impact with other people. And so from that moment and that event, we're like, you know what? We are focusing on coaches, and that's who we're going to work with, because we have all of these gifts, all this knowledge that we've studied for years, all this investments and what we've had for ourselves. If we can make a difference with those people, they're going to go out and make a difference with other people. And that's how we're going to have this ripple effect. And from there, we just started getting into coaches' worlds and what they were about. And a lot of them, they just started coming to us. It was like, when you have the right messaging, when you know within your, I know the intent, when you know your intention of what you're here to do and how you want to serve people, when you know who those people are, and you can speak directly to those people. I call it like the unspoken truths in their soul message. When you can speak soul to soul and they're like, man, they get me. Like, they know me. They know what I'm going through. And we just dove into that world like there was no coming back. And literally here we've been going on 7 years now, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I love the industry. I'm a stand for the industry. Anything I can do to serve coaches, I am here and willing to serve, because I believe in their mission. And so I think those things alone was really what started to propel us, because that's what it's really about, knowing your people and being able to speak directly into those unspoken truths that, did you know that? It's like, this, I do. So.
Yeah, it's amazing when you're in alignment, how effortless things become, but your clients feel that too. And they get better results. You deliver better and at a higher capacity for them. Everybody wins. It's just finding where you are and who you're meant to serve is really, really important in the beginning of starting your business. Fortunately, you guys both found that. It took the trials of getting there, but you stumbled upon it. So now that you're serving coaches, you go from $7 in the bank account. You have a 7-figure business in 7 years, a lot of sevens.
I know. Like, now that you're saying that out loud, I'm like, wow, okay, let's go.
Magic number, right? 7. That's the God number. So maybe it's divinely blessed. But so now though, that's very different. Running a 7-figure business is a very, very different journey. I don't know about where your clients are when they work with you, but what are some of the things that you do in your business that you've learned to systematize, make sure your operation is in order so that you avoid that burnout that you experienced?
Man, systems everywhere. Like, I am a systems, like, my brain just naturally works for systems. One of the biggest downfalls in the beginning for us is we were putting systems together for everybody else so much that we didn't have time to put together our own systems. So systems has played a huge role in us being able to grow and scale. And we're always even optimizing even more. Like, how can we create the system to even, like, I want a well-oiled machine that even if we step away, things are still working for us. Right. So that's been our biggest thing is systems. A big thing for us that we had to have a major breakthrough in is our leadership and being able to, like, outsource and have the right people on our team. We learned this the hard way as well. It's not just about having a team, it's about having the right people on your team, people who vision, they know the vision, they're like a part of the mission with you. It's not just let's go higher. It kills me, all of these messages that I get of like, I'll set 40 appointments for you, or like, no, you won't. You don't know my business. You're not a part of my business. You don't have the heart. Like, so it's finding the right team that's a part of that, and being able to develop your leadership skills where you can outsource and not take it all on as your own. We've definitely had to do that. I don't know if you can hear our little one or not. Like, moving forward in our journey, we've decided to bring in a little one. She's with us all the time, and I think that's the beauty of being able to have the systems and to have the process and to have the team and to have this well-oiled machine where you don't have to sacrifice for your business. That's a huge value and thing for us. It's like, you don't sacrifice your business for your family, and you don't sacrifice your family for your business. Like, it goes both ways. So that's been a huge part, is really creating systems and in every area, right? So there's systems that's going to attract the right people to you. So how you're creating, we have a whole system of how we create content, our content ideas, how they're going out into different platforms. We have a system for like reach outs and conversations and enrollment, and like, how can you create your, because we work with coaches, so in particular for them, how we create their coaching program so that they're not burning themselves out. And it still has that touch to it, right? Because coaching is kind of it's a different type of business where you're doing, whether you're doing one-to-one or if you have a group program, or like how you structure it is going to be in a big way of if you're going to be able to get to 7 figures or if you're going to burn yourself out. You're giving a lot of energy to people, and you're taking on, and you get to hold a lot when it comes to transformation. So I think ultimately building your emotional intelligence and building your systems and your leadership are probably the most important. If I had to say what's going to get you to 7 figures, those would be the 3 major ones. Do you have something to add?
No, that's good.
Yeah, I think the for coaches in particular, that's like the quintessential solopreneur industry, right? Is you are the product, you deliver it, coaching, therapy, whatever, doctors even. It's hard for, I see a lot of those people getting stuck in growing their businesses because they don't understand the leadership, the hiring, the outsourcing, delegating, all that stuff. When you start working with people though, like what is it about your process that you find is the hardest for them to wrap their brains around?
So what I've found, which is really why we're shifting over into more established coaches who've been coaching for a while, like newer coaches, it's the actual business building. Like, coaches came into the business to be a coach and to serve people and to help people. Like, what do you mean? I got to get clients. I got to make content. I got to like payroll, like systems, like email, copy. Like, I just want to coach people. Right? So shifting them into like the entrepreneur mindset rather than like, no, I'm just a coach. I just want to coach people. Like, just do all the things for me and I'll show up and I'll coach people. That's okay if that's where you want to be. But I would go find a coaching business and just coach for them. Otherwise, you have a whole skill set of learning how to be a business owner and really having the entrepreneur and getting through all the hurdles and being able to hold all of it.
Yeah, that's my argument for everybody. Whether you're a coach, solopreneur in any industry, that's the one thing that I get a lot of pushback on. Is I always tell people, if you just want to deliver the product, go work for somebody else. Like, don't have the ego around I have to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, because you're not a business owner. If you can't step away, you're a job owner. And I think a lot of people miss the fact that you have to build a business around the product, and you need to be absent from the delivery of that product to be a true business owner. So I love that you take that approach with people, because that's what kills most businesses, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think there's something, so there's like such a fine line with that with coaches. It's like they want to be the one-on-one, but then can still be in your business and deliver. Like, because there's a lot of like, I came to be a coach because I love being with people. Awesome. You totally can do that and structure it in a way that like it's such a small, like, so we work with a lot of clients and our delivery time per week is maybe 2 to 3 hours with our clients. Right. Where a lot of coaches are like, I'm working 8 hours a day back to back. Like, what are you talking about? So make sure your program in a way where you're still making a deep impact with clients. You're still there. You're doing the coaching. You're just have your model structured more effectively to be able to scale.
I love it. This is fantastic. So I put your website on the screen. You have a momentum profit plan. I'm curious, what does that look like? And if someone goes to take that, or to take you up on your offer, what are they going to get?
Yeah, so it's literally a checklist of like how we teach our clients like to go out. Like this is like coaches mostly, but before we had coaches. This is one of the things that we didn't get into is that Holly ended up having seizures so much that she lost her memory and ended up creating a model out of like with no memory, like basically just looking at what works and what doesn't work for our clients. And what we realized is this process was one thing that worked for every niche. It didn't matter as long as you're willing to work on, like build online. We had a construction company. They built a small little group, found other like local groups, and then brought people into their group, all about extending their home. But mostly it's the step-by-step things to do on a day-to-day basis to start building your following, to find people that are ready to hire you. And then eventually it's really how to take it and then hand it off to somebody else, so then you can leverage it and create a system around it. So it's really an all-encompassing system.
That's amazing. Well, that's super cool that you have that checklist in place. And I think that's the one thing, like I said, that holds most people back is they don't know how to build a business with them not at the center of it. So I encourage you listening wherever you are, go download that checklist and make sure you're setting your business up for success so that it can be delivered without you having to work 8 hours a day, 60 hours a week, or whatever that may be. So Chad and Holly, thank you both for being here. This was a great episode.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. It was great being here.
And for you listening, make sure you are subscribed wherever you are. All of the links that we mentioned, if you're not watching, they will be in the show notes as well down below. Make sure you go take up Chad and Holly, download that checklist, and we'll see you on the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for being here.